of course, now is 100 times bigger, so you cannot expect to move the same fast, as fast as in the past. But still, it's one of the best asymmetric bet I see on the market.
Same as what happened with Bitcoin. What people think they enter late, let's say late because we are not late, later than other people who discover first. And they pretend to do the same, probably have a 1,000% up in 1 year and say, okay, I multiply for 1,000 my wealth. But it's not going to happen because these instruments are becoming more mature and we don't see the volatility. Of course, if you enter with Bitcoin is not going to happen that what happened in the past where you buy Bitcoin, $1,000 in Bitcoin and you become billionaire. It's not anymore. But on the other side, the risk is lower. So you need to wait, you need to do your own research and wait. That's the point.
It's a trade-off because you have much less risk now, much less risk and much less, all the problem that we experienced in 2018, 2015, 2021, etc. So the price to pay is that you have to pay a higher price. Because you have a bigger insurance about the downside. So I think
imagine the people who enter strategy in 2020. I follow James from Invest Answers, and he started putting money into strategy in 2020. So these people was putting money when all of the finance world was telling Saylor that was crazy.
Yeah, he's going to go bankrupt and lose everything.
That's the point. So you were the people who won big is because they put money when everyone were telling that the Saylor was crazy. Most of the, let's say, probably 50% of the analysts say that he's crazy, but 50% say that he's a genius. He speaks in the big Bitcoin conference. He's invited to the White House. So the risk is lower. Of course, the returns are going to be lower. Hello, this is the Bitcoin Libertarian, and here we are again with another episode. I think it's number 16 of Bitcoin Treasury Company Reports. Here with me, Batistoshi. How are you doing?
Hey, Fernando, I'm doing great. It's episode 16 already. What number are we? It's 16. Okay.
16.
This movement is pretty big and it's growing by the weeks.
Yeah, it's growing by the weeks, and we are having good feedback on our YouTube platform and on X. Again, as I usually said, give us feedback, do comments, ask questions, tell us what you want us to talk, because at the end of the day, we end up talking about what things that we like or what we believe that are important, but probably you have a question and want to ask, and that's why we need your feedback. But so far, we are doing good. This is growing, and here we are again. So, Marco, what's happening with Bitcoin? Last week, we were like about to pack the bags and leave, and now we are close to a new all-time high.
Maybe we can just start with this, and I think the last week has been pretty insane. So just by, seeing the chart from BitBo,
but another thing that I want to put a stripe in our show, we also said that the price was going to go up, even when the price was going down and was around 109, 108. We were bullish, and we were talking that Bitcoin was going to go up. So this is another stripe for our show, another star that we predicted. This is not difficult to predict that Bitcoin is going to go up, but seems that we are looking at the correct metrics.
Yeah, I think we are. We were right. And again, it's you see, in 1 week, 7 days plus 12%. Imagine how painful should it be for people got some kind of depressed mood on X and just sell everything. Not sell everything, but maybe do some wrong trade at 109. And then, Bitcoin is repricing very violently in very short period of time. So yesterday we touched briefly 123 point something, almost 124. And so if we go and see the data, it's 1.59% from all-time high. So we are back.
we never left. So that is not that we are back.
Left. That's true.
I think that this pattern of Bitcoin moving like this, again, I always say that I like watching the Anthony Pompliano show, and usually on Saturdays, I'm going to watch it tomorrow morning. He's with Jordi Visser. Jordi Visser is one of my favorite analysts because he's super bullish with Bitcoin. He's super bullish with AI. When they said a recession is coming, he laughed. He said, there is no way that a recession is coming. And he was explaining a couple of months ago this new possible movement of Bitcoin that is like probably moving laterally for a small time, like between, like, again, like seeing
in a
that
range.
nothing is happening, going a little bit up, going a little bit down, but then going in this trend, huge trend of going up and moving to another level. And it's going to stay in this level. And one of the things that I want to discuss with you and ask, because I bring this from the Spanish. I think that the Spanish content on Bitcoin is around 4 years behind the English narrative of Bitcoin.
Don't ask me if in Italy it's better or worse. Don't ask.
I think that, and I still see, I'm sure in Spanish the content is very huge on Instagram because people like probably consume short content, and they are still discussing that there's the cycle that they are saying that next year, following the cycles, Bitcoin is gonna go down up to 60%, and I think that they are super wrong. I don't know what you think. Because I don't see this sentiment in the English-speaking Bitcoin community. Most of them are like, as when I spoke with Matthew from Porcopolis, he said, "I think that the cycles are over, but we need to check. We need to validate that." So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think. I think now it's like this part of the cycle or the part of the year in which we will have these different narratives, and I would say in 6 months we know which side is possibly correct. Because let's see that. I mean, if we say that the Fourier cycle is still in play, I think by the end of this year we should see some blow off top and correction. So if we go maybe in Q1 or Q2 in 2026, we will have the answer. So if we still see this kind of shop solidation that James Check often talks about, we probably mature as an asset class, which I believe it is the case, and we start to behaving more like a big macro asset, like gold or like other institutional asset classes. So I think we need just to wait. My idea is probably that the cycle is anyway moved to the right. Maybe it's too early to call that the Fourier cycle is over, but I think the chances is that probably we are kind of ending the Fourier cycle. Yes, that's my belief. So, but we need to wait a few more months.
Anyways, I think that a big crash is impossible, as they said, like 60K, 50K. Again, I always repeat the same. If we go to Bitcoin to 60K, 50K, is because the president of the United States is announcing that an asteroid is going to hit the Earth in 5 months. So that's the way. Can go as low as that for me. Yes, if there is a catastrophe coming up on Earth. But I think that as long as the price is moving like this and is moving together with the power law, it's like being like more close to the power law. I think that we are not going to see huge spikes. Probably we can see like 10%, 15%, 20% in 1 week, 2 weeks, but not these huge God candles or Omega candles. And we are not going to see back again, God candles going back. I think that we can have a big movement back if Bitcoin goes crazy in this Q4. And when I mean crazy is that price goes up around 200K, 250K by December. That is going to be so crazy, the hike, that for sure, probably from 200K, 250K, we can go down like probably 150, 140, something maybe like that.
Yeah, I think the drawdown will be a factor of how quickly and how higher we go before. So my view is if we go like by Q4 at 300K, which to me now it's very low chances, because again, I think it will be kind of elongated to the right for a few more months. But let's assume we go straight to 250 or 300 in Q4 2025 by December. Then yes, maybe a 60 or 70% correction is likely, very likely. But again, 70% correction from 300 is probably still 150. More than 100 and something, 120, 125. So yeah, it will be horrific for people buying at 280, 290, 300, but it won't be any difference in the past.
It's gonna be horrific in the next 6 months after the peak,
Maybe a couple of years, but
but
yes,
in a couple of years it's gonna be amazing because
yeah, it's gonna be good.
they're gonna be holding an asset worth millions and they bought for 250. So that's the point. When you look the long term of Bitcoin, you see that any price we can buy now, and I was speaking to you before starting the stream, that now we have this amazing period of time where we can change fake money into real money. So I don't know how long it's gonna keep going this, but again, I think that again, how long can go back, how can go down, it depends how high and how fast can go up. Because if it goes to 250, 300K, that I agree with you, is not probable. That but can go. The power law says that it can go up to that numbers. If it goes to this movement at this number, it's gonna be like a small bubble. So as a small bubble, it's gonna needs to go down and go back to the power law, and in that case we can go up, like we can have a drawdown of 60%. But now if it's Bitcoin is moving like this, that I really think that Bitcoin is gonna start moving in this behavior that is moving now. Bitcoin will become boring. It's gonna go up slow, it's gonna go down slow, but it's gonna go up forever.
Yeah, and I think this kind of post that I try to do every week kind of certify what we are saying, in the sense that I have some metrics that I'm following, like many, each one of us has his own set of, signals. But for me, again, Bitcoin once priced in gold is 31. It's still below 2021 peak. My target is 60, which is 2x from here. It's not crazy. In the past, Bitcoin did like 5x, 8x, or 10x compared to gold in a short period of time. So a 2x is not, crazy. Then we see other metrics like, the moving averages are still, grinding higher without any particular sign of, reversal, tipping point, or change of a trend. So I think it's pretty positive. We see consistently more millions and millions of Bitcoin bought by institutions, by companies, and then we will move later to the discussion today on strategy and Metaplanet. But still, this trend is keeping higher every week. And then also on the other side, still the liquidity has not fully entered the game. Still, the Federal Reserve try to keep interest rate pretty high. Still the stablecoin market didn't grow as big as the Treasury expects. So we have so many inputs today that I think we found an equilibrium point at around 108, 110, 115, this range. And then we need to see what's happening next. And gold is still running, didn't reverse. So for me, Bitcoin didn't even started the last one or two final moves. That's my view, because it says with gold, and Bitcoin is an improvement of gold. So
yes, that's the point. So I think that we are not even reaching, because most of people, there is some I don't know, these people who analyze graphics and all the stuff, say that the peak is gonna be on October 6th. It means on Monday. It's like
October 6th.
October
Really?
6th. They say October 6th is gonna be the peak of Bitcoin. Okay. Because I don't know what the
because they have 3 statistical points. They say 1,000 days from the bottom, so we're gonna be replicate. But
to be honest, I respect everyone, because I'm nobody to point
nobody
people
knows
and say
nobody
knows. But there is a guy on Instagram that he predicts the price of Bitcoin based on this Chinese zodiac, and also because some Jewish calendar dates. So
okay.
it's again, I since I know the power law, since I discovered the power law, I'm not gonna say that it's true, that is the real, but it's like a religion or a football team. Like you support this team because you believe in that team, or a religion or a political party. I think that the power law is super strong and it shows the way. So I think that all these speculations that most of people also do these statements to get clicks, to get views, to get monetization. But at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going to happen. And by the way, what do you think about this new clown that is the guy who has the highest IQ on earth? That he's saying that thanks of him, Bitcoin is going to go up crazy. What do you think about this?
I
It's
don't
for
know.
me,
My IQ probably. I never did the test. It's below 80 probably. I always
but
I put on X for fun.
for me, it's a clown because I saw the news and I said the highest IQ guy on earth just went all in on Bitcoin last week. And I say, if he has the highest IQ on earth,
And 12 years.
Why? That's the point. I know a lot of people that for sure have more IQ than him. So it's crazy. For me, it's another clown in the Bitcoin world that
Yeah, because you
appears.
can be very, very smart in I don't know, in medicine, in history. You could have done very, very well in engineering, in other stuff, but maybe you didn't had the the interest of understanding how money is working. So maybe you might be much smarter than us in IQ test, but this doesn't reflect in where did you start buying
Well,
Bitcoin or how you understand the market. So
I remember when I went to Honey Badger, Giacomo Succo, a guy from your country, that, by the way, I will have him on my stream on Monday. He explained like the IQ cure, the 80%, the 80 IQ, the over 160 IQ,
160,
and the
yeah, are the
explanation
same.
that the same. Like, for example, I said, like, I buy. I'm not probably I'm 80%, 80 IQ, and I say I buy Bitcoin because we need to buy Bitcoin. The guy on the other side said, we buy Bitcoin because we need to buy Bitcoin. The guy in the middle is doing a lot of analysis and like, again, like, it's just buy and hold, and it's mathematics. It's easy. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to know basic first grade mathematics, and you will understand.
Yeah, you need to know where to look, and you need to understand with skeptical thinking and critical thinking to unpack things that are not 100% straight or 100% certain. So that's for me intelligence and IQ, not a test. So
Of course, and again, it's like, if he was the smartest guy on the world, he should have gone all in on Bitcoin probably 10 years ago. So it is what it is. So let's move to the next topic, is MetaPlanet, that again is buying Bitcoin as there is no tomorrow. They don't give a crap that the price is going up. That's another thing that I mentioned. And when I see this financial analyst saying, oh, you need to wait up to when it goes 107K, I will go in, I will buy. These people that have a lot of money, are buying a lot of Bitcoin. And now MetaPlanet is the fourth company that most Bitcoin holds in the world. And the price is going up. The last 2 days went up super high. I know because I have some shares on MetaPlanet, the Japanese one, and it's going like 12%, 15%. So it's
yeah, I think
incredible.
it bounced from the bottom, and I think on the treasury space, I think MetaPlanet is a good proxy to see if a reversal might occur, and if your ticker that you bought in the BTC space, it's sound and logical, probably should move and behave similarly. So I think MetaPlanet bottomed probably, and now is plus 20% on probably 1 week. And I think it's mainly due for what you said, 30,000 BTC in the threshold that now they hold, and also about this plan, the phase 2. I was pretty, every time MetaPlanet posted some slide deck, first of all they are beautiful, and second of all the information that you can see from the inside. So I think this is the next probably 12 months plan for MetaPlanet. They already have 2 points live, so the Bitcoin treasury operations, so securitizing Japan's equity and fixed income capital.
Can I stop you for one thing, because we need to take a dimension what happened with MetaPlanet when they were in Hong Kong. They were below 20,000 Bitcoin. They had below 20,000 Bitcoin. Then there was like a meetup of MetaPlanet just after the conference in Hong Kong, something in Japan. I don't know if it was MetaPlanet or what, when they were celebrating that they bought they were over 20K Bitcoin on Treasury, and now they are over 30K. So they increased more than 50% their Bitcoin their Bitcoin in their Bitcoin bag in just 1 month. So this is amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I think their target was 21,000 for fiscal year 25. So they anticipated the 21,000 and even exceed, and we still have months ahead. So they are on track to overperform under most metrics. And again, they are trying to diversify in different business line, in different kind of activities. Also with selling the options on BTC, they are doing some income generation streams. They also announced this project Nova. Not many details yet. They are building it, so probably in 2026 we will know more. It's classified. I like how they name it in the slide. And also Bitcoin Japan distribution center for all things Bitcoin in Japan. So they are entering phase 2, and it's very interesting for as a shareholder on for their company, and also as a Bitcoiner in general.
Yes, for me it's very interesting, and some guys on some big names on X are betting MetaPlanet, like Adam Livingstone. I saw this guy. I don't remember Peter Duan. People that is really active in the community of MicroStrategy. People who knows a lot of these things. So yeah, I think that MetaPlanet is taking advantage of their geography, that they are in Asia. And as I always am repeating the same, for me, what is going to happen, there are going to be a few companies in the long term controlling different parts of the world. And MetaPlanet is the one in Asia, is the lighthouse in Asia for Bitcoin. And that's why when I approach Simon, he said, I cannot talk. So let's see if now I can chase him to bring him to my podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think also what we said like months ago. So I think it's correct, and it's getting even more traction now that we will see a lot of successful company globally adopting and embracing Bitcoin, but companies that can reshape this industry from bottom up, there will be few. Even more after the recent, maybe we can just move now on strategy, the recent discussion that Saylor had in I think in CNBC, something like this,
Mm-hmm.
and also in some other podcast, maybe the one from
No,
magazine.
the one for Bitcoin Magazine was amazing. I just cut some. I did some cuts and I uploaded to X.
Yeah, saying
Unbelievable.
saying that again. Now he has stretch, but the idea is to have also in different currencies. So again, if you think why you should buy preferred offerings or why you should buy other instruments for those other companies that have 50 times less Bitcoin, when you can have maybe in the next year strategy entering with different currencies, like new lines of products, I think the market will react and say, yes, strategy is more credit worthy, strategy is much bigger, strategy has a global scale. So maybe they can offer better, better offerings to even more geographies. So I think the end game from Saylor is, okay, now we have proven the phase 3. Now we open these preferred offerings. Maybe we want to, not even maybe, they will also enter in other geography. And I can imagine like Stretch in USD offering about this variable yield, but also maybe entering in the euro space, Japanese space, in other currency. And I think this will be, kind of game changing also for strategy to become really the global digital Bitcoin digital creditor in play. So I think it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think that this is the end goal of Saylor. I think that the end goal is to accumulate around 1 million or something more Bitcoin, and again be the global creator, like the
Yeah,
Bitcoin
digital
central.
credit is obsessed with digital credit. So yeah.
Yeah, so he's thinking. I think that Saylor is thinking how, and he works a lot with AI. So I think that Saylor, with help of AI, he is reshaping and he's building the finance world that is going to come in the next years. So, because again, we see, I'm 100% sure fiat is doomed. All the bonds are going to be are crap. And when Sailor can get these instruments, the fixed income, the fixed rate in interest, instruments categorized with a high rate from the agencies, and he can drive money from the pension funds, from the retirement funds. So this is going to be huge. And I think that he is working on that.
100% is working on that. He knows that is the biggest prize, is the trillions and trillions or multi-trillions of money that needs to find a yield, a good yield, and with more, long-term assurance on the capital as well. Because maybe you can find an 8% yield on a crappy bond or on a crappy preferred offerings, but you're not sure to be around for 10 years or 5 years. So the idea is to improve the yield, is improve the risk quality, and to have something with a very long time horizon. So Stretch now is 99, trading at 99. So technically, strategy can issue the ATM on Stretch, can issue more of STRC, and then we see probably in the next 1 or 2 weeks how much demand there is for these products, how much strategy can raise capital, of course, to buy straight away Bitcoin. And again, if this is gonna work out, and if the U.S. market and globally we realize that the difference of this 10% with the 2% that we have from the bank or even less is appealing, well, I think a lot of money will flow into those other instruments. So I'm looking to Stretch for the next weeks and see what's happening there.
For now, is, for example, of course, no financial advice. Which instrument do you think that is the best for a retail investor to put money in when it comes to strategy? Of course, no financial advice.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the preferreds, but it's also true that in most brokerage account and in most, trading platform, some of those are not available. Now I heard the news about Robinhood with Vlad Tenet saying, no, now we will offer all the preferred offerings because investing in strategy and strategy itself is very trending, and there is real demand for this thing. So they will list all of them. So I think it's a big plus for retail investors. I think as of today, I would go maybe with Strive if you want to have a good, yield, very stable product, maybe in a portion of your portfolio, and maybe Strike because you can have the upside of the underlying strategy. So again, it's not financial advice, but if you ask me to be, kind of conservative, not go on the crazy, extreme upside potential and the volatility, I think Strive and Strike.
Yes, of course. Like if you want more volatility, you can go either for the stock or for options like leaps.
Never
but
touch
again,
it.
but again, no financial advice.
Yeah, but again, this news about Robinhood, I think many other will follow. Because again, imagine that now we see in a couple of weeks billions coming to Robinhood just to allocate to MSTR, to STRC, to STRK. Then you start to see, yeah, but those money are moving from somewhere else. So you have like, I don't know, Interactive Broker, you have other platforms that are losing billions, and those billions are simply transferred to another platform. So at some point you say, yeah, but I should list those instruments as well, because I don't want to lose trading fee. I don't want to lose clients and money. So I think Robinhood moved first. Many other will move after. Retail can access those instruments. And again, it can hype up and fire up everything because it's, potentially millions of people wanting to have those exposure.
Yes. And talking about the stock of MicroStrategy, this week also did a great jump. I remember last week was close to 300, and now it's
It went sub
350.
300 now, yeah, and now it's
But
350.
it when it's down, but it closed over, like it closed over 300, and now it's 350. Do you think that we can see a recovery and see the stock price over 400 in the next month? Do you think,
I mean,
or even
short term,
higher?
short term, it's complicated. I think that if Bitcoin will start doing Bitcoin things, meaning implied volatility to go up, the 4-year CAGR to go up, more demand, more interest on Bitcoin, and more volatility, for sure, strategy will benefit, because strategy since day one of 2023 said that they want to monetize volatility of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is flat, they cannot do much.
Yeah, that's what I think that was what would happen with the Bitcoin treasury companies in the last months, when they say, "Oh, Bitcoin treasury companies are going down, are losing money." It's because Bitcoin was like flat. Like we see Bitcoin moving between 110 and 120 for months. As I said, Bitcoin is becoming boring and it's not so volatile, and this happened, and also most of the companies started to accumulate Bitcoin. So, anyways, I think that Bitcoin is gonna go up, and all. My take for my 2 cents with the treasury companies are that Bitcoin is gonna go up. Some of them are gonna go up, and some of them will die and will be absorbed by all these companies that stay on the market. What like happened with Semler. Um, but
But
it is
again,
what it
it's
is.
a matter of when you enter the market, because now, even now, Metaplanet is minus, I don't know, 80% from the top, 75%.
Mm-hmm.
Capital P is minus 80% from the top. But still, if you go just 1 year behind, those companies are still probably the best performer stock in Japan and the best performer stock in France.
The strategy 1 year ago, yesterday we were talking with Diego at the office. 1 year ago was 163. So
Yeah, so now,
what are you complaining, guys? Of course, I understand if you bought strategy at 550
430, yeah.
or 400 or something like that, but it is what it is. You need to you cannot see like it takes time. So we've been through the bear market of strategy too. So uh, it is what it is. That's the market. You don't need to think short term. You need to think long term. And when in doubt, zoom out. And strategy, since they adopted the Bitcoin strategy, is more than 2,700% up. So is the trade of the decade. So come on, guys,
Yeah,
don't complain.
and it's still, all the fundamentals are still in place. So of course now is 100 times bigger, so you cannot expect to move the same fast. I mean, as fast as in the past. But still, it's one of the best asymmetric bet I see on the market.
Same as what happened with Bitcoin. People want to, what people think that they enter late, let's say late because we are not late, but later than other people who discover first, and they pretend to do the same. Probably have a 1,000% up in 1 year and say, okay, I multiply for 1,000 my wealth. But it's not going to happen because these instruments are becoming more mature and we don't see the volatility. Of course, if you enter with Bitcoin, Bitcoin is not going to happen that what happened in the past, where you buy Bitcoin, $1,000 in Bitcoin, and you become billionaire. It's not anymore. But on the other side, the risk is lower. So you need to wait. You need to do your own research and wait. That's the point.
It's a trade-off because you have much less risk now, much less risk, and much less, kind of all the problem that we experienced in 2018, 2015, 2021, etc. So the price to pay is that you have to pay a higher price,
Of course.
because you have a bigger insurance about the downside. So I think it's
Imagine the people who enter a strategy in 2020. I follow James from Invest Answers, and he started putting money into strategy in 2020. So these people was putting money when all of the finance world was telling Saylor that was crazy.
Yeah, he's going to go bankrupt and lose everything.
That's the point. So you were the people who won big is because they put money when everyone were telling that the Saylor was crazy. Now most of the, let's say, probably 50% of the analysts say that he's crazy, but 50% say that he's a genius. He speaks in the big Bitcoin conference. He's invited to the White House. So the risk is lower. Of course, the returns are going to be lower. So don't complain. And if you want 1,000x in 1 week, go and buy a coin with a frog or with a bee or whatever.
10 million market cap that can go zero while you sleep.
That's the point. And get rug pulled because you are not going to win. So that's the point. Sometimes I get a little bit like crazy because, again, you need to give time. This is not overnight. So, and markets are okay for this. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and again, we focus too much time sometimes only on the price. I mean, the price is a very good metric. It synthesizes almost everything that's happening in the market, blah, blah, blah. But still, if you see the fundamental of strategy compared to the peak, they have much more Bitcoin. They have higher BTC per share. They have the level of debt is decreasing. They have all in place that's about to succeed. So
now we I don't remember the other day we were looking at the True North podcast, and they were analyzing. I don't remember which company was issuing debt. I think that was I don't want to say the name. I don't remember the name, but it was a huge company.
I think Hertz.
Huh? Hertz, yes, Hertz, the rental car.
I saw the episode. Yeah,
the bonds were, of course, the trading volume was crap.
Almost
the bonds almost zero, and the bonds were were a rate with, I don't know if it was A or B. The rate
I think was triple B or double B. I mean, like not incredibly good, but a good outlook.
Yes, and when you see the depth of this company is 100% the assets. So it's like, then you go to strategy and depth is just 10%, and you go to Metaplanet and the depth is even nothing related to the assets that they have. So that's why people don't understand.
Asymmetric bet, Fernandez, that we understand Bitcoin because you spend like 10,000 hours into it. Most of traditional people and normal people, they have spent 10 minutes reading a bias article from Financial Times or Wall Street Journal. So for you, the basis is the foundation is wrong. So strategy is a Ponzi.
But what you need to understand is that as you say, we need to understand the fundamentals. Like financial markets are changing. The financial things are changing. We cannot analyze now the financial market with the same rules that we analyzed 30 years ago. So I think people, you don't have to read all this. I have a friend, the father of my friend, he always send me an email that he receives from his financial advisor, and I read it and I laugh because it's like, come on, you're a financial advisor. You probably are making good money because it's United States. Or here, the financial advisors in Hong Kong, they make a lot of money and they don't understand this crap. So for me, don't follow these people because these people are, I don't say that they are wrong, but they are analyzing something with the wrong tools. I'm trying, it's like, if I try to, I don't know, cut a steak with I don't know, with my iPhone, with my pen. So it's like they are analyzing with different tools. So you go online, there is a lot of people that, of course, I'm not saying listen to me, listen to the people who knows, because I listen to them. That's the point. And study. There is a financial revolution going on, and those who don't understand are gonna feel the pain.
Yeah, and I mean, financial advisors are intermediaries. Intermediaries have, in all fields, they have conflict of interest. And most of them are so comfortable in what they're selling, in what they're doing, that they don't want to change. But it will arrive at a point in which you are forced to change. And if you change way too late, or if you are forced to change, it's not at your condition, it's at someone else's condition. So The point of Bitcoin is removing intermediaries, is removing conflict of interest, is taking back responsibility. And again, most people today don't want to have responsibility. Most people don't want to study. Most people don't want to have critical thinking. They just prefer that someone said you need to do this and you do this, like a small soldier. Bitcoin is reshaping everything and go back from collectivism to individualism, which for me is like the new renaissance of humanity needs to pass from individualism, not from collectivism. So I think Bitcoin is teaching each one of us to do what's right and what's following the truth that you see, not believing in the intermediaries in any field.
Yes, I think that that's the point. The collectivism has destroyed the world. I don't want to go in deep with other things that are happening in the world that are ruled by collectivists. But yeah, we need to, if we want to go in, if we want to go into a new golden era, we need to embrace the individualism. We need to do our own research. We need to study, because I always said, world is changing. The next 5 years are going to be crucial. And if
again,
you are
for
not
us, it's already happening. For Bitcoin, and it's already happening that you see the future of abundance, that you see a future that is more, not less. That you see a future with more freedom, not less. If you are on the camp of normal folks that I was until 2018, you are stuck with a frame of mind that is, oh my God, the future is more depressed. Oh my God, I will have less money in the future. Oh my God, I will have less freedom of whatever kind of freedom you are striving for. But it's already happening. The future is already here.
Yeah, there is a song of an Argentinian band that says the future has arrived long time ago.
Long time ago.
So I think that we are here, and people, again, as I said, we don't give financial advice. My only advice is to go there and study Bitcoin and have a critical thinking. Probably you study Bitcoin from 100 hours and say, this is a scam because of this, and we can have a debate. But you cannot say that this is a scam because you're watching CNBC 10 minutes, a stupid guy talking about bias things because he is backed by the financial market. So
how many people, Fernando, do you know that studied for real, not claiming that they studied, but for real, 100 hour, and they say, I don't understand Bitcoin, it's a Ponzi, is a fraudulent scheme, it's
no way.
none.
No way, nothing. Nobody. The thing is that, again, once you understand, and this is something that I always, every person that comes to my podcast, they say it. Once you become a Bitcoiner, you cannot go back. You cannot go back. Once you are in, what you I don't know. I know shitcoiners. I used to do shitcoining, and I'm not gonna go back to this crap. But I cannot go now from Bitcoiner to shitcoiner. I cannot go from Bitcoin Maxi to shitcoiner. So
and I think if you go on the logarithmic price of Bitcoin, you see exactly what you said. Once you understand Bitcoin, 19, if you let's say 100 people really understand Bitcoin, 99 will stay there and one goes out. In all other markets, maybe it's like 50-50. It's depending on seasonality. So that's why you don't see this beauty on the log price on anything else, because you don't have this fundamental belief that once you understand something, you want to stay almost forever because you understand it is superior. So on the margin, someone will sell Bitcoin. On the margin, someone will try to trade it. Yes, sure. But overall, over a long time, people will keep their own Bitcoin. They will stay there. They want to add more. They orange pill other people. And so that's why we see this floor on a logarithmic price going beautifully up, and probably will go up as long as Bitcoin remains, as Jeff Booth say, decentralized, secure, and spread as a network. So as long as we are on this trajectory, I think we're fine.
I think it's unstoppable. I think that it's unstoppable. That's why we are doing this. We are trying to orange pill people. So because if you keep into the real world, if you don't understand Bitcoin and you don't study Bitcoin, someday reality is gonna slap your face, and it's gonna be late. So that's the way.
Again,
Yes.
Fernando, today I'm fired up. I don't know, maybe it's because Bitcoin is pumping, but what you said, I think, is 100% true. If we go back 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 150 years ago, in any society or in any kind of recent history or even in the past, you see that we had other similar events in which a small minority saw something different, and those small minority, because of their conviction, because of their kind of commitment 100% to this new cause, become the next kind of wealthy and the next powerful people that reshape the world because they understood something before and ahead of all the others. So I think Bitcoin is just a new form of this. Probably will be one of the best that we had in the past and we will have in the future. So that's why it's very successful, because we saw in advance something that is coming. Like if you are in 1969, understanding that the depth of the US would potentially be unsolvent, and you start to question about the valuation of your own dollar, and you swap it to gold because you said, yeah, gold works for millennia. So if you did that trade in 69, in the 70s, or in 71, and do nothing for 50 years after, you had probably multi-billionaire, I don't know, because you saw something before.
Yes, that's the thing. So I'm sure that that Bitcoin is this asymmetric bet that appears. But again, it's like I don't even compare with gold. Gold, the only use of gold is to explain Bitcoin to boomers. Is the only use of gold. I don't even compare with gold because it shakes the technology. It's just all the things that Bitcoin changes in the world, gold cannot change. Gold is just a store of value. Bitcoin is the way, is a paradigm shift. So a paradigm shift. So, and again, I always point the same. The next 5 years, the world is going to change crazy. And the two revolutions, one is going to be Bitcoin and the other is going to be AI. So better study that, or again, reality will slap in your face. So anything else, Marco?
No, I think I like this episode today because we went also a bit more on Bitcoin ethos and Bitcoin topics, and I think we should do it more. We should do it more because it's still early, and people, before understanding all the financial engineering, the complexity of maybe other equities, we probably still need to push more on the why Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? Why is the point of all that?
I think that this is the main thing that we need to push. Of course, now for example, when I'm doing the podcast in Latin America and in Spanish, and nobody understands anything about treasury companies, and it's a guy sending me messages on Instagram, say, "Oh, what a good episode," and say, "Yeah," because nobody understand. There was an episode of a huge YouTuber, a huge OG in Spanish with Alexandre Laizet, and it was more like a Jewish. This like when you go to a trial and you start asking things to the guilty guy, was something like that. Was like, okay, tell me why this is not a scam, instead of analyzing how they are reshaping the world. I think that not many people in Spanish world understand this. That's why we are creating a pity that you don't speak Spanish, because it was going to be amazing. But we are going to start doing the same with Diego once we are setting up a studio where we are going to have our podcast well set up with a huge, a nice background, and we are going to do more and more episodes in English and in Spanish. But yes, the first point.
Congrats, Fernando, and congrats to Diego. Yeah.
The first step is to educate into Bitcoin, because again, we need to understand Bitcoin and then move to. I take this point what Peter Duan said me when I had him in my podcast almost 1 year ago. He said, first you need to study Bitcoin at least 100 hours. Then you have to put money on Bitcoin and keep studying Bitcoin. Then you have to study Bitcoin treasury companies at least 100 hours. And after that, buy some stock on Bitcoin treasury company. So that's the way. So Marco, again, I like this episode because I think that I give my toxic maximalist my toxic maximalist beast was unleashed. So that's the point. Not too much data analysis, but philosophical analysis of Bitcoin, and that's the way. That's the way. So, Marco, for all the people that are following us, your social media, so they can follow you
Only
too.
on X, but Tistoshi93, I'm pretty easy to find. So
yes. By the way, the other day you uploaded a video and was super viral. I thought I saw
yes.
four, like 3.5 million views.
I think now it's 4.4.
Amazing.
Let me see. Yeah, I mean it's. I mean, of course, Safedin retweeted it, but again, it was completely viral. Yeah, I think it's. Let me see. Yeah, it's 4.4 million, and I think each people that is a Bitcoiner, they're also anti-socialist measure, anti-left-wing propaganda, and against Marxism at core. I hope this video won't be banned because I said this, but so
no,
yeah,
on X there is no problem. Thank God we have X.
Yeah. Thank God.
Of course,
thanks to Elon.
Of course, if you put this in YouTube or Instagram on another
or LinkedIn
work platform, they are gonna take you down. But we are gonna win. Sooner or later, this platform will have to adapt to Bitcoin, or they will be replaced. So that's the good point. Yeah, I saw that. Again, I'm a little bit disappointed with Safedin, I have to say, because he became a super critic of our president, of Javier Milei. I think that, of course, there are things that he's criticizing and he's kind of correct. He doesn't understand what happens in Argentina, but I think that the trigger is because Safedin supports Palestine. I don't know why. Because if you're right wing, I don't know why, but anyways, and he's 100% against Israel, and Milei is 100% pro-Israel, and think that this is what is making him biased. And I'm saying you can have different. We are now in the middle of a cultural battle, so of course, probably we don't think the same in some like specific topics, but in the core, we think the same. So we need to fight. We need to support the people who is in the same team that us. Then when we win, then we can start discussing, because some people has another vision. They want to create circular economy. Some Bitcoiners hate the Bitcoin Treasury company. So we need to support us, because we didn't win. We are, even though we think that we are more, we are growing, but we are still in less numerical situation against the others. So I don't know why he's complaining a lot against Milei. Why don't you go against, I don't know, the people from Spain, the government from Spain, the government from UK, the government from France, that they are communist? I don't know. That's make me crazy, even though I respect a lot Safedin.
I mean, I'm not an Argentinian. I don't follow much of what's happening over there. I think from his point of view, he's analyzing, more the facts and not just the words. So maybe on the back end, he sees that, still Argentina is on the path of some unsustainable, fiscal policies or expanding of debt or interest rate. I mean, again, I don't have knowledge to comment. So maybe he's viewing from an Austrian economics perspective versus this libertarian movement that might be masqueraded by something else in his view. I'm not saying that is correct. We need maybe some more time, but again, probably he said Milei launched this shitcoin, not a Bitcoiner. I don't know. So
he's not. Milei is not a Bitcoiner. But what got me crazy was that he retweeted a tweet from our former president, Cristina Fernandez, that she is in jail because she is a thief. She's a criminal. And he retweeted the tweet from a communist criminal that is on jail that was against Milei, and say, dude, come on. And he said that he said me that I'm an asshole. He answered me. And he said that I'm an asshole or whatever. Dude, again, now we need to fight all together. Then we need to discuss our difference, but we need to support Milei. We need to support Meloni. We need to support Trump. We need to support Bukele. And we
be honest, I see what you mean. I I mean, each one of us should be entitled to support, the politician, etc. For me, I think Bitcoin at core is a silent revolution, is something that you detach from it. And I think me at my stage now, I prefer just to manifest my vote and manifest my freedom with this other system. That's why I'm not following much specificity of each, policies. But that's
the point is that we still live in a world where their politicians are the rulers. So if what happened in Europe now that Europe is going to is crap, is because the socialists that control the European government, European Central Bank, most of the governments of Europe are destroying Europe. So we need to fight. Again, I hate politicians. I agree with that Bitcoin is voting against politicians every day, and I want a world without politicians in the future. I want an anarcho-capitalist world in the future, and I think that with Bitcoin is possible. But now, if we let the socialists win, we are not going to have this discussion in the future, because they are going to put the CDBCs, they are going to control the us, they are going to put they are talking about the universal rent and all this crap. So that's the thing. So again, I didn't want to talk about that, but I become crazy. I don't like, because
to be honest,
again,
I think sometimes also Twitter exaggerates things. Sometimes we are, radicalized also inside a very good instrument like Twitter. I see what you say, but I don't know if it's that, bad in the future or as dark in the future. That's my
anyways, as long as I don't agree with Safedin, and it makes me really angry when he is against Milei, I respect him a lot. He wrote the best book ever, one of the best books ever in economy, and he's a genius, and he's a huge exponent of the Bitcoin community.
But that's the point, Fernando, of being intelligent and being in an open democratic society in which you can have very strong debates. Yes, a very strong disagreement, but still understanding that you can be disagreeable on one side because you have your ideas versus other ideas, but you can also acknowledge the greatness in other fields. And I think it's something normal, no?
This is the greatest book I ever read, and this is my real advice for people is read this book. Read this book first, and it's gonna change your mind. Don't read saving tweets, but read this book. So that's the
maybe you can do both. Let me correct. I think
only read saving tweets when he shares what Marco posts. That's the point.
Yeah, I understand that you might have some beef on, specific Argentinian situation because you have been from there. Safe has not been from there. You have lived since you're like a kid with the history from your family, I suppose, etc. So you know exactly well what happened in the last century. He's viewing it maybe from more a technical, economical, very narrowed vision, which again might be correct, but is discounting maybe some critics or some problem in Argentinian politics and other stuff. So we need to balance it out, I think.
Yes. And anyways, Safedin, if you want to come to discuss, we have the channel open. It will be a pleasure for me to come and discuss about why you are being so mad against Javier Milei. So, Marco, again, repeat your social media. And
Batistoshi 93. That's it.
Batistoshi 93. So let's meet next week. I hope next week is Andrea here, Diego is here.
We need to do it with four of us. Would be
four horsemen, and we can be in our studio tomorrow. We are going to set up a lot of things. I need to fix the internet stuff, and let's see if we can start broadcasting from there, because it's going to be a nice setup. So Marco, again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Fernando, and to all the listeners. Thank you,
and have a good weekend.
You too.
Thank you, and thank you very much to everyone who is on the other side. If you like the episode, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, follow us and Marco in social media, share this episode because it's the best way to help us. If you like what we do, we don't want money, we don't want Bitcoin, we don't want anything. We just want you to put a like, to support in that way that is totally free. So thank you very much for everyone who is on the other side. Share this episode with the people you love. Share this episode with the people you hate, because we must reach 8 billion people and onboard them to Bitcoin. See you in our next episode of our podcast. Stay humble, stack sats, and remember, we are all Satoshi. Si te gustó el episodio, danos un like y suscríbete a nuestro canal. Nuestro canal en español es Libertarian BTC ESP. También tenemos un canal en inglés, Libertarian BTC. Nuestro Twitter o X es de Bitcoin, __ o __. Nuestro Instagram es de Bitcoin Libertarian. Nuestro Patreon es de Bitcoin Libertarian. Así que nada, suscríbete, aprende de Bitcoin y apoyanos en esta titánica tarea de darle la píldora naranja a 8 billones de personas. Muchas gracias.